afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Fox Saturday Baseball. I'm Kenny Albert, joined today by Bert Blyleven. This is an important series for both clubs. Both the Rays and the Twins hope to be playing well into the month of October.
Well, you know, this is just one game, but the Minnesota Twins, Kenny, know all about one game because the last 2 years they've had to play 63 games to get the postseason. And for the Tampa Bay Rays, they're trying to catch the Yankees, a very tough opponent to try to stay close to those New York Yankees.
And both managers excited to get a key player back today. J.J. Hardy for the Twins, B.J. Upton back in the Rays lineup.
Yeah, J.J. Hardy just coming off the disabled list for the Twins. He was on the disabled list with a left wrist bruise, and for B.J. Upton, a couple things, a quad injury, and then he had a little bit of attitude adjustment, I think, by Evan Longoria in the dugout.
That was last Sunday. B.J. back for the Rays here today. Well, both teams started the 2010 season very strong, but lately it's been more of a struggle. They both look to get back on track during this 4th of July weekend in Minneapolis. Twins and Rays next on Fox. With a record of 46-33. Their batting order brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Sean Rodriguez leads off, followed by left fielder Carl Crawford. Then third baseman Evan Longoria, DH Willie Ibar in the cleanup spot. Catcher Kelly Shopping, center fielder B.J. Upton, first baseman Ben Zobrist hit seventh, and right fielder Gabe Kapler, and the shortstop former Twin Jason Bartlett. As the Rays face 26-year-old left-hander Francisco Liriano, getting set to make his 16th start of the season, comes in with a record of 6-6. He has lost his last 3 decisions. 2-1 lifetime against the Tampa Bay Rays as Sean Rodriguez steps in and takes a called strike, 0-1. The sprint pitcher profile for Francisco Liriano.
Yeah, Liriano will try to get through the first inning. Almost 30% of the runs that he's given up have been given in the first inning. And one thing that he needs to do, and he's already done it, control of his fastball early. His strikeout pitch, a nasty slider. He'll also mix in a circle changeup. And there's that slider right there on 3 pitches. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Sean Rodriguez, his first strikeout victim.
Laureano, fourth in the American League. 106 strikeouts coming into the game today. This game brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the first inning. The beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. Here's Carl Crawford, and he takes the fastball inside, ball one.
This is a guy right here they want to keep off the base. He's already been on the base too many times for the Minnesota Twins in the first 2 ball games played here.
6 hits in this series, 4 on Thursday, 2 more last night.
Yeah, the Rays won. They beat the Twins here on Thursday night, 5-4 in 10 innings, and then a great pitcher's duel yesterday, won by the Twins 2-1. It was Scott Baker over David Price. Both starters pitched outstanding.
Now 2-1. Crawford batting .318, 10th in the American League.
Not a lot of at-bats against Francisco Liriano. Of course, the Rays and the Twins don't see each other a lot throughout the season. Liriano, 26 years old, in his 6th season with the Twins, went through the Tommy John surgery, missed all of 2007, kind of came back in 2008. Last year was a frustrating year for him, but off to a very good start this year.
Bounce foul to the right side. Count remains 2-2.
Sometimes you can look at numbers and they say 6 wins, 6 losses, but you know, with a little added run support, almost the same thing for Wade Davis, the starter for the Rays here. A little more run support, you know, his record would be better than 6-6.
Crawford pops it up, foul. And it's been a streaky season, Bert, for Liriano. He won his first 4 decisions. He was named American League Pitcher of the Month in April. Then he lost his next 3, won his next 2, and has lost his last 3.
Yeah, he's a guy that attacks the strike zone. Again, it's the first inning. The last 2 out of the last 3 starts, he's given up 3 runs in the first and then 4 runs in his last start against the Tigers and fell right behind and, you know, in the ball game. And that puts a lot of pressure on your offense. After that, he's fine. He'll put up some zeros, but usually anytime you get a major league pitcher that's consistent, you want to get them early in the game before they get into a nice little rhythm.
Just 2-6 over his last 10 starts. Another foul. So far, Crawford has seen 8 pitches from Liriano.
Oh, this guy's a good hitter, having a very solid year, hitting at .318. He'll hit some extra base hits, occasional power. And speaking of power, that's one thing that Liriano has stayed away from. He's allowed only 2 home runs this year, and both those home runs came in the same game at Fenway Park. One to Adrian Beltre and the other one to Kevin Youkilis. That's been it. And he has not walked a left-handed batter in 81 plate appearances against him.
Crawford has fouled off 7 pitches during this at-bat.
Yeah, as a pitcher myself, I did not like guys like Crawford because, you know, they make that pitch count go up early in the ball game. And, you know, today's game with the pitch count, you need to average between 14 and 16 pitches to get into the 7th inning.
Yet another foul. That is number 8.
You call him a pest. Crawford getting 4 hits here on Thursday night, a couple hits in last night's ball game. And 2 for 8 lifetime against Francisco Liriano.
Awaiting pitch number 12 during this at-bat. He has fouled off 8. Liriano wins the battle. Defensively for the Twins, brought to you by Scott's. In the outfield from left to right, Young, Span, and Kubel. Morneau at first, Hudson at second, Hardy back with the Twins at short, Michael Kadire at third. The battery of Liriano and Joe Mauer.
Yeah, very good defensive ball club. 31 errors, tied with the Yankees for the fewest errors in the American League. Cincinnati Reds leading all of baseball with only 30 errors on the season.
With Longoria at the plate, Liriano has struck out the first 2 batters in this game, but he had to work hard to strike out Carl Crawford.
Evan Longoria in his third season with the Rays, his second full season, the American League Rookie of the Year back in 2008. He came up in May, played 122 ball games, hit 27 home runs. Last year, 33 home runs, and drove in 113 runs. This guy, to me, Kenny, is the captain, really, of the Tampa Bay Rays.
A 2-out single, and you mentioned the incident which took place last Sunday when he got in the face of B.J. Upton in the Rays dugout during the game against Arizona.
Take a look at the swing right here. Not a bad pitch, outer half of the plate, but, you know, Longoria, nice extension, good, solid, smooth swing, taking that ball right up the middle. Yeah, that's what you want captains to do, Kenny, is to take charge of the ball club, and that's what he did with B.J. Upton.
So a 2-out base runner for the Rays here in the first, as Willie Ibar fouls one off to the left side. Ibar in the cleanup spot, the designated hitter for the Rays this afternoon. 5 hits in his last 10 at bats.
Yeah, Ibar got the big hit in that 10th inning that drove in the go-ahead run for the Rays as they beat the Twins 5-4 here on Thursday night. Ibar, a switch hitter, hitting .250 as a right-handed hitter. 3 of his 5 home runs coming from this side of the plate. Ibar, the brother of Eric Ibar. This is Willie Ibar, 27 years old, from the Dominican Republic.
Line drive caught by the first baseman, Morneau. A scoreless first. Today, the 7th annual Armed Services Appreciation Day, as the Twins honor veterans and active service members from all 5 branches of the U.S. Armed Services. Minneapolis, the hometown Twins with a record of 44 and 36. Their batting order brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Center fielder Denard Span leads off, followed by second baseman Orlando Hudson. Joe Mauer hits third. Justin Morneau cleanup. Then Jason Kubel, third baseman Michael Kadire. The DH Jim Thome hits 7th, followed by left fielder Delman Young. 38 runs batted in his last 38 games. And the shortstop J.J. Hardy returning after missing the last 20 games. And for the first time, the Twins will face 24-year-old right-hander Wade Davis. Made 6 starts last season, 5-9 and 15 starts this season for the Rays. A 3rd-round draft pick by Tampa Bay back in 2004. A season-high 7 1/3 innings for Davis in his last start, a loss to Arizona on Sunday. So Denard Span steps in, the Tampa native. Lead off against Wade Davis here in the bottom of the first inning, as we check out Davis's sprint pitcher profile.
Yeah, he did not enjoy the month of June at all. A gloom June for Wade Davis, but he's happy that July is here. And You know what? When you face the club for the first time, I always feel that the pitcher has the advantage. Wade Davis has never faced the Minnesota Twins. It's important for him to throw strikes early because the Nards fan's going to make him maybe do what a bat like Crawford had. So everybody on the bench can kind of look at him. You can look at all the videos you want, but there's nothing like actually seeing what type of stuff he has. So Wade Davis, you need to attack right here. Throw strikes, make them make contact right off the get-go.
A 1-2 from Davis. Span makes contact, but he fouls it off to the right side.
You know, they haven't seen your breaking ball. Wade Davis has a fastball. He has a two-seamer and a four-seamer. What's a two-seamer? It sinks a little bit. A four-seamer's pretty straight, and it'll come out about mid-90s. He's got a great arm. His hard slider, he told me, was his strikeout pitch. He'll mix in a curveball, and something he's still trying to learn is the feel for a good changeup. Kelly Shopik will try to get him through this start as he puts down fastball away, shakes off, and now this, maybe the curveball.
First baseman Ben Zobrist steps on the bag, so Span is retired as we check out the Rays defensively. Brought to you by Scott's. Crawford left, Upton in center, Kepler in right. Around the infield, Zobrist, Rodriguez, Bartlett, and Longoria with Shopik behind the plate for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the Rays are right about the middle of the pack, currently 7th as far as most errors, or fewest errors in the American League with 49 errors.
Orlando Hudson swinging out the first pitch from Davis. And he flies out to the center fielder, DJ Upton, for out number 2.
This is a beautiful ballpark, Kenny, but it has been a pitcher's ballpark. And that's where, as a pitcher, you want that guy to hit the hitter straight away center, left center, right center. Balls are having a tough time getting out there unless you hit the ball down the left field line or right field line. Now the breeze is blowing in from right, so you're better off hitting it the other way.
Joe Mauer, a prime example. He has not hit a home run in this ballpark.
Well, he has 3 home runs, all of them on the road.
Twins have hit 23 home runs here at home in 41 games as Mauer takes strike 1. Twins have a home record of 26 and 15.
Yeah, and the Rays are almost that on the road. They are 26 and 14 on the road. A very good road ball club.
A 2-out single for Mauer into left center.
Well, we showed you Evan Longoria, their number 3 hitter, with the best hitter in the lineup, and definitely Joe Mauer, 3-time American League batting titles he's had to his name already at 26 years old. It's 27 now, but this guy could just flat out swing that bat. Very good, solid base hit right there by Mauer.
So a 2-out base runner for the Twins as Justin Morneau steps in. 1 for 8 in this series. Mauer with a single here in the first inning. Burton last night 1 through 5 in the Twins order, a combined 0 for 14.
Hey, David Price pitched a great ball game. He had a no-hitter going until the 5th inning, when it was Danny Valencia that got a base hit off of him. And then the Twins were lucky enough in the 7th inning to string 3 hits together. A base hit by Jason Kubel, an RBI double by the hot-hitting Delman Young. And then it was Danny Valencia, who hadn't played in about 10 days because the Twins have shifted their defense around. He got the big RBI base hit to allow the Twins to beat the Rays 2-1.
One and 2 now on Morneau. 2 outs, bottom of the first inning. Over 100 on the field.
Now, what helps right there is when you're down on that field here at Target Field, there is a little bit of a breeze down there, and that's kind of like in Texas. You know, it's hot, but boy, you thank goodness for the breeze.
Rodriguez to Zobrist. So the Twins are retired in the first. beautiful afternoon in Minneapolis. No scores. We head to the top of the second inning. Each team with a base hit in the first. They've split the first two of this series. Rays winning in 10 innings on Thursday night 5-4. And the Twins coming back last night with 2 runs in the 7th for a 2-1 victory. Rays middle of the pack in batting average, in hits, in home runs in the American League. It's been feast or famine for Tampa Bay this season. As far as runs are concerned, they've scored at least 8 runs 23 times. But they've been held to 1 or fewer 15 times, including last night. And manager Joe Madden told us before the game we've wasted good pitching too often this season.
Well, it's the #1 pitching staff in the American League. Combined between the starters and the relievers, 3.56 earned run average. That's the best in the American League. Twins are second, so both these clubs here this afternoon rely on good starting pitching, but also have the #1 and 2 bullpens as far as lowest ERA in the American League.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Kelly Shopping.
Yeah, Shopping kind of looking at home plate umpire Tim Timmons saying, don't you think that ball's a little inside? Liriano with 2 strikeouts in the first inning. This will be his 25th pitch. And the circle changeup misses down and away. Well, he's a strike thrower so far. 25 pitches, 20 strikes. One thing Liriano has done this year, he's cut down his walks. Only 27 walks in 100 innings pitched.
And you mentioned only 2 home runs allowed. Shopping becomes strikeout victim #3 as we check out today's Ford keys to the game.
Well, for the Tampa Bay Rays, they need a healthy B.J. Upton. They need his attitude change, and they're hoping that he can bring that with him after the little controversy that they had in the dugout, and then aggressive base running. This club likes to run. 98 stolen bases. They've been caught 28 times. And for the Twins, welcome back J.J. Hardy, the shortstop. And then you want to continue to play the Twins' way. What is the Twins' way? Good fundamental baseball. Rely on good pitching, defense, and hopefully some good timely hitting for Ron Gardner right there in his 9th season as a skipper of the Twins. You know, I think the Twins' way is every team's way. It just so happens that's kind of what they call it here in Minnesota, the Twins' way. Joe Madden has his way too. And that's basically, how do you win a ball game? And how do you keep 25 guys from liking each other every day? You're going to have arguments. You're going to have players that don't always get along. But credit Evan Longoria for confronting B.J. Upton. And now you'll find out what kind of person B.J. Upton is. Is he taking that challenge and taking it to the next level of getting the potential that everybody looks at and says, this guy has tremendous potential, but you can see the 226 batting average. He gets on base, he makes things happen. 24 stolen bases. He's got so much potential.
Dyer, across. And Upton is retired, making his first start since last Sunday. And the incident that took place.
Yeah, this is a ball right here that goes all the way to the wall. A lot of the players thought that he didn't really hustle after that ball, and Evan Longoria kind of confronted him on that. Hey, you have to hustle after that ball. That probably should have been a double, but he made it into a triple.
So Upton returning to the starting lineup for the Rays here today.
Joe Madden right there. He's in his 5th season as the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. He wants to be the owner, but he's the manager.
And his club is retired in order in the second, and Zobrist rounds out to Hardy. flavor and a crisp, clean finish. It's what we do. Kenny Albert, Bert Blyleven back in Minneapolis. No scores. We head to the bottom of the second inning here at Target Field. Each team with one base hit.
A beautiful new ballpark here, Target Field in Minneapolis. Great view of downtown Minneapolis. They've averaged almost 40,000 people that sell out every night. Take a look at the umpires. Tim Timmons behind the plate. Tim Cheetah at second. He's the crew chief.
And a local product. Jason Kubel 1 for 6 in the series, batting .263 for the season. Kubel, Kadire, and Tomey for the Twins here in the second, as Kubel lines out to the first baseman Zobrist for out number 1. See the Yankees beat the Blue Jays 11-3. Yankees scoring all 11 of their runs in the third inning. So their lead over the third place Rays is now 2.5 games. In the American League East, Rays were in first place for 59 consecutive days earlier this season. On May 23rd, Tampa Bay had a 6-game lead in the East.
Yeah, they won 17 games in April and May, but the month of June was not very kind to the Tampa Bay Rays. But it's a new month, and hopefully, Joe Madden hopes that this ball club can gel together and finish strong, stay in that race. It'll be interesting to see, Kenny, how the Boston Red Sox do, because it seems like every day they're losing a key player. Jason Varitek now out for the Boston Red Sox after, Victor Martinez is on the disabled list.
The Red Sox have come on strong after a slow start, as Kadire fouls it back to the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, bottom of the second inning. Twins and Rays are scoreless.
Well, Kadire, the longest tenure player in the everyday lineup here for Ron Gardenhire. This is his 10th season as a Minnesota Twin. Number 1 pick by the Twins back in '97 out of Norfolk, Virginia.
Starting at third base once again today in order to keep both Kubel and Tomey in the lineup.
Yeah, and it's something that Kadire here kind of suggested when first Orlando Hudson went on a disabled list. Nick Punto went to place in second. The ball hit to B.J. Upton for the second out. And Kadire kind of went up and said, hey, I'll play third, move Punto over to second so Kubel can keep his bat in there, and that also allows Jim Tomey to get some at-bats.
Speaking of Tomey, he steps in with 2 outs in the inning. 5-time All-Star with 572 career home runs, 1 shy of former Twin Harmon Killebrew, who is in 10th place all-time with 573. I talked to manager Ron Gardenhire earlier. Said Tomey's been a tremendous addition both on the field and in the clubhouse. He's brought stability. He reassures all of his teammates when things aren't going well. And he sends this one into the left field corner. There it is, number 573 for Jim Tomey, his 9th this season. And he is now tied with Harmon Killebrew for 10th place on the all-time home run list in Major League Baseball.
Congratulations, Jim Tomey. Not only a great hitter, future Hall of Famer, but a great person. And that's the most important thing. He got a pitch away from Wade Davis, and his last 3 home runs have been hit to left field here at Target Field. If you're a farmer and you have a plow horse, that's what Jim Tomey has been throughout his career. This guy is a horse. He's a plow horse. Well, the fans still on their feet here congratulating Jim Tomey. And Dallin Young's going to step out. And there's Jim Tomey now tied with Harmon Killebrew for 10th on the all-time home run list. And that man did it naturally. .345 feet into the left field corner.
Jim Thome, 39 years of age in his 20th Major League season. Now in the top 10 all time.
At number 3 right there, Harmon Killebrew, the Hall of Famer here in Minnesota.
Harmon celebrating a birthday earlier this week.
You see where Jim Thome is now, tied with Harmon Killebrew for 10th on the all-time list. 2 class men right there, Harmon Killebrew and Jim Thome.
Now 2-2, Delmon Young, who leads the Twins with 54 runs batted in.
That home run allowed by Wade Davis, a 14th home run he's allowed. And now 84 innings pitched. Davis from time to time has had some control problems. 38 walks in 82 2/3 innings coming into this ball game. And you mentioned earlier Delmon Young. I mean, what a trade this was for both sides, really. Delmon Young coming over from Tampa Bay, and Bartlett and Matt Garza going over to Tampa Bay from the Minnesota Twins.
Worked out for both clubs.
Yeah, Delmon, a lot of people don't realize this young man's only 24 years old, in his 5th year already at the Major League level. He's just starting to come into his own. That's what they feel here in Minnesota.
Payoff pitch. Deep center field. Upton looks up. He's on the track. Extra bases for Delmon Young. He's in at second with a stand-up double.
Well, Delmon Young with 9 home runs, and there have not been too many balls hit at target field where this ball goes right here. Miguel Cabrera hit one over that wall this high off that scoreboard out in right center. B.J. Upton gets it back in quickly, but it's a double for Delmon Young, his 20th double of the year. Excuse me, 21st double of the year. And there's a trade right there I was talking about. Delmon Young coming over, former #1 pick by the Rays. Jason Bartlett, Matt Garza, both have done very well as a Tampa Bay Ray. So a good trade for both sides.
So with Young taking his lead off second, here is J.J. Hardy. Just off the disabled list. Missed the last 20 games. Was 2 for 10 at the plate during a rehab stint in the minor leagues.
Yeah, back in early June, he slid into third base and kind of drug his left wrist and had a bone bruise in his left wrist that never really healed. So spent some time on the disabled list.
Up the middle, backhanded by Rodriguez. Strong throw to get Hardy at first. But the Twins have taken the lead as we check out Harmon Killebrew, one of his 573 home runs. Now tied for 10th with current Twin Jim Thome. And his second in the last 3 weeks. Hit on Fox Saturday Baseball. Tommy went deep in Philadelphia against one of his former clubs 2 weeks ago today. Gabe Kapler leading off for the Rays here in the third against Francisco Liriano.
Yeah, Gabe Kapler, pretty good story because he was out of baseball for a year, went down, managed, and then started throwing batting practice, took some batting practice himself and said, you know what, I can still play. Ended up signing with the Brewers a couple of years ago in his second season with the Rays, and he gets a base hit here, the second hit for the Rays against Francisco Liriano.
And for Kapler, only his second base hit in his last 22 at-bats. Well, baseball's biggest stars go head-to-head for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2010 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Coverage begins a week from Tuesday, July 13th, live from Anaheim at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. Here's Jason Bartlett, who is one of 5 Tampa Bay Rays to represent the organization in the All-Star Game last year in St. Louis.
Well, what a year Bartlett had last year. He hit .320 in 137 games. Career high 14 home runs, drove in a career high 66. 30 stolen bases, but it's been a little different story for Bartlett this year. He's really having a tough time getting going, hitting at only .220. Now the Rays like to run. Kapler, of course, you know, he hasn't not been playing a lot. He has 1 stolen base in 2 attempts against the Rays with 98 stolen bases on the year.
24 more than any other team in all of baseball. They have 4 players with at least 12 steals.
Bartlett has faced Liriano last year. He was 2 for 3 off of Liriano in a start that Liriano lost to David Price May 30th of last year, the last time that Liriano faced the Rays.
He's 2-1 lifetime in 4 starts against Tampa Bay. Got 2-1.
Liriano pretty good at holding on runners. There have been 8 attempts and 6 have been successful, but anytime you're a left-hander and you can have that quick step home, clubs really don't run against you that much. And Joe Mauer, outstanding arm behind the plate. Bartlett played 4 years in Minnesota, and he bunts with 2 strikes.
Liriano fires to first. So Bartlett sacrificing Kapler over to second base.
Excuse me, that was 1 strike.
And Burt, here are the leaders as of Monday. American League All-Star balloting. The All-Star rosters will be announced tomorrow. Mauer and Morneau, a couple of Twins, and 2 Rays leading at their positions. Longoria and Crawford, one of the 3 outfielders.
Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, you know, you see 4 of the 10 guys here this afternoon. And what about the job that Vladimir Guerrero has done for the Texas Rangers? 70 runs driven in already. There's a new machine down there. There's Paul Molitor, Hall of Famer in 2004. He now works for the Minnesota Twins through their minor league system. Does a lot of clinics locally.
Sean Rodriguez struck out his first time up. Rays with a runner in scoring position here in the third, trailing the Twins 1-0.
There's Paul sitting with his son, enjoying the ball game. Sean Rodriguez, pretty good story really for the Rays. He came over from the Angel organization, kind of was up and down for 2 years, had a great spring training and made the club, the Rays club, out of spring training. And really has been hitting pretty well ever since out of Miami, Florida.
A 5-time All-Star in the minor leagues. Hardy over to first as Kapler moves to third. Well, the Baseball All-Star Game celebration begins tomorrow on TBS with the All-Star Selection Show. Then on Monday, July 12th, it's the Home Run Derby on ESPN. And on Tuesday, July 13th, the Red Carpet Show on MLB Network. It's all leading up to the All-Star Game Tuesday, July 13th at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on Fox.
I get tired of those people keep calling me up to pitch batting practice for the All-Star home run hitting contest. You know, I'm 60 years old. Come on. I gave up my share during my playing career, and they still want me to throw batting practice, Kenny. Why is that?
You haven't lost your number, huh?
I guess not, no. You have to change it.
Who's that guy?
I don't know. That'll keep all the evil spirits out of that area up there.
Over in the National League, the leading vote getters as of this past Tuesday, both Utley and Polanco are currently injured. Philadelphia Phillies have gone through some tough times. The rookie Jason Hayward from the Atlanta Braves with over 2 million votes.
That's one good thing about interleague play. You know, we get a chance to see, if I have broadcast for the Minnesota Twins during season, the Twins, they get a chance to see other, you know, National League clubs, the Albert Pujolses of the world, and the Ryan Howards and guys like that.
One to Crawford. Liriano unable to scoop it up. Kapler scores. We are tied at 1.
Well, that's what speed will do to you right there. Liriano knew he had to get it over to Morneau quickly, and he thought the best way was to barehand it, but never really got a grip on the ball. So the sacrifice bunt by Jason Bartlett ends up getting a run for the Rays. See the swinging bunt right here. Liriano tried to barehand it and flip it all in one motion, but could not get the ball in his hand. And it should be an infield base hit, and it is for Crawford, picking up his 40th run driven in. As Kapler scores to make it a 1-1 ball game.
Crawford, a 3-time All-Star. He has never started. In fact, the Rays have never had a player run out as part of a starting lineup at an All-Star game. They had 2 players who were scheduled to start. Jose Canseco back in '99 and Evan Longoria last year, but both missed those respective All-Star games due to injury. So if Crawford and Longoria do in fact start the All-Star game in Anaheim, they would be the first Rays to actually do so.
Wow, that's great for the Ray organization.
Crawford, the MVP of the All-Star game last year, thanks to a terrific defensive play as the pitch gets away from Mauer and allowing Crawford to move to second.
Well, Liriano with that good slider down and in, and you know, with Joe Mauer, what they do a lot of times is they'll go through more than one sign, and Joe going out to make sure, looked like he was crossed up right there. They may give him a pass ball, but I think Mauer was looking for the fastball, and Liriano threw the slider. The reason that they give more than one sign with a runner at first, especially a guy like Crawford, because good runners like Crawford, they'll go out 4 or 5 steps and look in. And if you only give one sign, like a one finger, well, that's a fastball. If Joe went 2, then, you know, that's a curveball, and a runner would probably rather run on a curveball than he would a fastball.
It is a pass ball charged to Mauer. And a 2-0 Longoria in for a called strike. Now 2-1.
Well, a lot of pitches for Liriano so far in this ball game. He has not walked anybody with 3 strikeouts. Good slider right there, down and in to Longoria.
Longoria single to center field, his first time up. Rays with a run on 2 hits in the inning. The 2-2 from Liriano. Center field, charging is Span. He makes the catch to end the inning, but the Rays have tied the game at 1 here in Minneapolis. both the Rays and the Twins with a run on 3 hits. Bottom of the 3rd inning. And we'll hear in just a moment from Rays skipper Joe Maddon. Top of the order for the Twins. Denard Span leading off. Rounded out to the first baseman Zobrist. His first time up back in the 1st inning. Swinging out the first pitch into the gap in right center. A long run for Kepler. He dives and makes the catch. So Denard Span is robbed of an extra base hit.
Well, Kepler keeps himself in tremendous shape and does a great job of catching up to this ball and then leaving the earth right there for a split second and makes a nice diving catch to keep Span from maybe extra base hits. Wade Davis says, thank you very much.
Here's Orlando Hudson, fly to center back in the 1st inning.
You know, Davis so far has done a good job, exactly what I talked about. Attack early. 7 of 10 batters he's faced so far, he's been able to get strike 1. Now 7 of 11 with Hudson at the plate.
Davis in his first full season, 2-2 and 6 starts with the Rays last year. He's lost his last 5 starts this season with an earned run average of 6. Left center, Crawford, 2 out.
Well, you know what, Kenny? I looked at the numbers of Davis in the month of June. He was 0-5, and you know the ERA was high, but he lost 2 ball games 2-1, and he lost another game 3-2. So sometimes, you know, those numbers again can be a little deceiving.
And that's what we mentioned earlier. Joe Maddon talked about. The Rays have wasted some terrific pitching by not being able to score too many runs in a number of ball games.
You can see that June, he is not happy with that, and hopefully he's glad the calendar turned. It's funny, baseball's funny that way. You know how you can, you know, it's a 6-month game, but players sometimes break it up in months. Okay, had a bad April. Okay, May's going to be better. Had a bad June. Okay, that's over with. Now July. What you want is a good October. That's what you want. That means you're in postseason usually.
You know, there were 2 Octobers that stand out in your mind.
Yes, 1979 Pirates and 1987 right here in Minnesota. And that's where these guys want to get here, the Minnesota Twins, back to the World Series, someplace they haven't been since 1991. And the Rays, a couple years ago, had a chance to get there.
They had home field advantage by virtue of the American League winning the 2008 All-Star game in 15 innings, lost to the Phillies. And then Joe Maddon managed in last year's All-Star game in St. Louis. American League won that game as well. So the New York Yankees had home field advantage in the World Series and defeated the Phillies in 6. The 1-2 to Mauer, and he is now 2 for 2.
Well, this is Joe Mauer at his finest right here. I mean, Joe Mauer already 3 batting titles. He won his first one in 2006 when he hit .347. A couple years ago, he hit .328. Last year, won his 3rd and 2nd in a row, hitting .365, just like that. Just takes the ball the other way, just smooth swing. And I think this is the first time in a long time I started my scorecard with Joe Mauer hitting .297. Usually it's .330, .340.
So Mauer with 2 of the 4 Twins base hits today as Morneau fouls off the first pitch from Davis. Justin Morneau rounded out to the second baseman Rodriguez, his first time up.
Well, Justin having another solid year, 16 home runs, 52 RBIs driven in, leading the club with the 16 home runs. The 2006 American League MVP.
With the 2009 MVP on at first. Justin Morneau among the league leaders in numerous categories so far this season. 3rd in average, 8th in home runs, 9th in base hits. Leads the league in doubles, 2nd in walks, etc., etc., etc.
Now you build ball clubs around the M&M boys, Justin Morneau and Joe Mauer.
Rick foul down the right field line. Count remains 0-2.
You know, he's got such long arms, and he's got great extension, great coverage of the plate. And right there, that ball a little bit inside, and Justin opening up quickly, but lining it foul. Robinson Cano leading the American League in average, but Morneau, you see a lot of great numbers right there.
0-2 from Davis. Morneau, deep right field. And for the Twins, their second home run in 3 innings. Number 17 for Morneau. 3-1 Minnesota.
He's only the second player to hit a ball for a home run up in that section over that scoreboard. Miguel Cabrera did it when the Tigers were here earlier in the year, and Justin Morneau on a breaking ball with that uppercut swing takes it just over the flower bed, over the scoreboard, in the flowers for a 2-run home run. Might have ruined some flowers out there.
So on an 0-2 pitch, Morneau hits his 17th, only his 4th here at Target Field. The Twins now with 25 home runs at home. Kubel leading the way with 6. And he grounds out to end the inning. Now the Twins have taken a 2-run lead. Morneau, it's now 3-1. King, who reminds you to have it your way. And by One A Day Meds, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball, specially formulated for men. Back in Minneapolis, Twins leading the Rays 3-1 by virtue of a pair of home runs. Jim Thome solo shot on the second. Justin Morneau 2-run homer in the 3rd inning. So Wade Davis has allowed as many home runs today, Bird, as Francisco Liriano has all season.
Yeah, I mean, Davis is getting strike one. There's a bad 0-2 pitch to Justin. You know, you let that ball up a little bit. That Justin hit the 2-run home run. But for Liriano, he's faced 13 batters now. He's only been able to get strike one on 4 of the 13. Again, a key to a starting pitcher is get ahead in the count. So much easier. Your pitch count's going to be lower when you're always pitching from behind. And a big inning for Liriano because the Twins got him 1 in the bottom of the 2nd. The Rays came right back and tied it in the top. Now they put 2 on the board. It's important now, no matter what club you're with, put a 0 on the board right here. Don't let the Rays back in.
1-2 on Ibar, who lined out to the first baseman Morneau, his first time up. 55 pitches so far for Liriano. You'll hear from Rays skipper Joe Maddon in just a moment. With the All-Star game coming up a week from Tuesday on Fox, as Ibar is called out on strikes. The winning league with home field advantage in the World Series based on the All-Star game result. And we asked Joe how much pressure he felt to win the All-Star game last year.
A lot. I mean, there was a chance that we could be in that World Series last year. So as a manager, it's definitely a game. It's not an exhibition game. It's a game, and you have to plan it that way and try to get everybody involved. But there's a threat of extra innings, and you want to win the game. You want the home court advantage. All those things play. And then furthermore, last year was a National League game, which makes it even a little bit more complicated. But I totally enjoyed the experience, and I did attempt to slow it down to really have a good time.
Hey, Joe, you have to be very proud of Carl Crawford and Evan Longoria going to represent the Tampa Bay Rays.
Listen, these guys are true professionals. They're very young, obviously. Longo even more so than Carl. I've watched Carl really blossom over the last couple of years into a really good Major League player. Longo came with a lot of the bells and whistles attached, but they really got tremendous work ethic. They're wonderful young men, and it's great for them to represent us again.
And David Price, terrific outing for you guys last night, and he very well could be the starting pitcher in Anaheim.
I'm in. I'm good with that. I think, something like that really can bolster a young man's confidence. And although David doesn't need a whole lot of bolstering, he has a lot of self-confidence, as you saw last night. But he truly has put himself in a position for this honor.
Thanks very much, Joe.
My pleasure, guys. Have a good game.
You.
All right.
You know what? Both these managers, Kenny, are so easy to deal with, and I think that's why, they'll have success at the Major League level, because they deal with the media just as well as they do their own players.
No, you're right, Bert. Both guys are tremendous. Spent a lot of time with us the last couple of days. The 2-0 to Upton. And Joe Maddon also feels like his closer, Rafael Soriano, deserves a shot to be selected to the American League All-Star team. Only one blown save. 19 for 20. Soriano this season.
Yeah, 2-0 out of that bullpen. 1.57 ERA and 29 appearances. So he has been something that the Rays have been looking for over the years, is that steady closer. And he's done a great job of that.
3-1 from Liriano, fell back to the screen, full count.
And of course, in here in Minnesota, they had Joe Nathan, but Joe Nathan had the Tommy John surgery, so a lot of added pressure was put on John Roush, and he's done a very good job as a closer. He picked up the save in last night's ball game, his 18th of the year. So two good closers, two very good bullpens here for both ball clubs.
Upton down on strikes. Fifth strikeout for Liriano on 4th of July weekend here at Minneapolis. Twins leading the Rays 3-1. as Michael Kadire leads off against Wade Davis here in the bottom of the 4th inning, and the curve is in for strike one to Kadire, who flied out to the center fielder B.J. Upton his first time up. Twins with 2 home runs today over the first 3 innings. They have not hit more than 2 in a game here at Target Field this season.
Yeah, again, this has been a pitcher's ballpark so far, but you leave some pitches up and you're going to get hammered here, and that's what Wade Davis did. Now, what Wade Davis needs to do right here is keep the score the way it is by making good quality pitches. You know, as a starting pitcher, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to allow home runs from time to time. I can attest to that, but now your job is to put zeros on the board. Scott Baker did that yesterday in yesterday's ball game. Gave up 1 to the Rays in the first inning and then shut them down the rest of the way. 6 shutout innings after that until the offense was able to score a couple runs off of David Price. This is a very young starting staff for Joe Madden and Jim Hickey, the pitching coach. Davis only 24 years old. Kadire slashing that ball the other way for a foul. David Price, who pitched last night, only 24 years old. You have Matt Garza at only 26. Jeff Neiman worked here Thursday night at 27. And tomorrow it'll be James Shields' turn. He's the old man of the pitching staff at 28. So a lot of good arms right there for Joe Madden and the Rays.
Long run for the right fielder, Kapler. He dives but cannot make the catch. It bounces foul. So Kadire stays alive.
Well, we saw Kapler made a great catch last inning off the bat of Denard Span going to his right. This time going down that line and diving at the last second. The ball's foul, but wow, that's what you like to see right there. I loved it when my outfielders were diving after balls. Sometimes they had to jump very high, too, to try to get them. Good effort right there by Gabe Kapler.
Terrific effort. He robbed Span of an extra base hit back in the 3rd inning. You think your center fielder's watching?
You hope so. We hope that B.J. Upton sees that. And that's kind of what, that whole thing was about. But B.J. Upton's been fighting a quad injury, too, so you don't know if that came into play.
Here's the 1-2, another foul. This one off to the left side with Jim Thome waiting on deck. Twins with a 3-1 lead, bottom of the 4th inning in Minneapolis.
Well, Davis has done a good job of throwing strikes. 52 pitches, 38 have been strikes. And Kadire giving him a good at-bat right here. Another foul ball. Wade Davis, he's from Lake Wales, Florida. He's a second cousin to former All-Star Jody Davis, who played with the Cubs and the Atlanta Braves. Told me yesterday he had a chance to talk to Jody from time to time. Jody, of course, a great catcher. I mean, if you're a pitcher, why wouldn't you want to talk to your cousin about, pitching?
And this at bat by Kadire against Davis, reminiscent of Crawford's first inning at bat against Liriano. Kadire has fouled off 6 pitches, 6 of the 10 he has faced.
Well, Davis last year, a September call-up for the Rays. He made 6 starts, left an impression. 2 wins, 2 losses, very good 3.72 earned run average. Made the starting rotation out of spring training.
So Kadire lines out to Kapler and right as we take a look back at Jim Thome's 573rd career home run back in the 2nd inning. Tying Harmon Killebrew for 10th place all time as Thome returns to the dugout. Michael Kadire wearing a mic.
Congratulations, dog. Congratulations. That is baby.
And Thome congratulated by his teammates. He drills this one and is now all alone in 10th place with 574.
Somewhere Harmon Killebrew is going to say, hey, wait a minute. What happened? The next swing. Jim Thome now passes Harmon Killebrew and is in 10th place by himself. Jumped on that first fastball and again took it the other way into the bullpen for the Rays and the Twins.
Please direct your attention to the video board for a special message from Harmon Killebrew.
Hi, Harmon Killebrew here, and I just wanted to take time to congratulate Jim Thome on his career 574th home run. He's always been a credit to Major League Baseball, to himself, his family, and the teams that he's been playing for. I'm glad that he was able to hit it in a Twins uniform. I only wish that I would have been there to see it. Congratulations, Jim. You're a wonderful guy. A credit to yourself and everybody that you play with.
Wow. Very touching words, and I know that meant a lot to that man right there, Jim Thome. Again, two class individuals. Getting hugs all around from his teammates here in his first season in Minnesota. One by one. Congratulating Jim Thome.
The 45th career multi-home run game for Jim Thome, his first this season. He is now all alone in 10th place on the all-time home run list. He hit his first when Burt was still active in the major leagues.
I don't think he hit one off me. I hope not.
He did not.
Good.
Home run number one came on October 4th, 1991 at Yankee Stadium off Steve Farr. The only home run he hit that season.
No, I did play with Steve Farr in Cleveland. So there's a tie-in.
One home run in 27 games for Thome with the Indians in 91. As Young strikes out.
Yeah, how do you even hit after that, message from Harmon Killebrew and the reaction of the fans here? And Dalman Young ends up striking out, and Davis ends up picking up his first strikeout.
Alex Rodriguez with 595. He is the active leader. A-Rod hit a home run on Thursday in the 8th inning. He thought it was the 9th inning.
I'm just going to say Jim Thome did it naturally as you look at those numbers.
Flanked by A-Rod and Manny Ramirez. Here's a drive off the bat of J.J. Hardy. Off the wall in left center.
You know what, Kenny? I have done 40 ball games here at Target Field. This is the most I've seen a ball jump at this ballpark. So many people were wondering if it gets warmer, is this going to be more of a hitter's ballpark? Well, 3 home runs. J.J. Hardy hitting his 6th double in his first hit since coming off the disabled list. Almost out of the ballpark against the fence in left center field. The Twins get their 7th hit of the ball game with a 4-1 lead.
Their 5th extra base hit. Here's Denard Spano for 2 today. And he drums one down the right field line foul. You know, I was in the ballpark for the first time yesterday, working a game here for the first time today. I don't know what the big deal is. All I've been reading and hearing about is that this is not a hitter's park.
Yeah, it's a hitter's park today. You know, I guess you could thank Wade Davis for that. He's throwing some cookies up there, and he's got to bear down right here and maybe make some guys move their feet a little bit. Twins are having some very good swings against him.
On the ground to the first baseman, Zobrist. The toss to Davis. And the Rays are finally out of the inning. But the Twins have extended their lead as Tommy passes Killigrew with number 574. Myers Twins, that is a season high for his club here at Target Field. They hit 23 home runs in 41 games coming into play today. Twins lead the Rays 4-1 as Ben Zobrist leads off here in the top of the 5th inning against Francisco Liriano. Zobrist grounded out the shortstop Hardy his first time up.
Well, Ben Zobrist, a guy that's been very valuable to the Rays over the last couple of years. Last year, he made the All-Star team. Last year, he played 7 different positions. One of the best utility guys in the game of baseball. And the last guy to play 7 positions in one season. We go back to 2001 when Denny Hawking, a former Minnesota Twin, did it for the Twins in 2001. So these guys are very valuable throughout the season. Of course, Liriano's been tough on lefties this year. Left-handers hitting only 173 off of them. So Carlos Pena getting the day off for right now. And Zobrist, who already has played center field, he's played some third, and now he finds himself over at first today.
And he's batting in the number 7 spot for the first time this season. Coming into the game, leads all switch hitters in the American League in batting average.
Yeah, took an 0-for yesterday. Had a streak of 23 straight games where he got a hit on the road. But he strikes out right here against Liriano, his 6th strikeout of the ballgame.
And he's retired 5 in a row. Timeout for a DirecTV game break. Yankees and Blue Jays at Yankee Stadium. Brett Gardner with a grand slam home run for the Yankees, who scored 11 runs in the 3rd inning. Now, how about this? Alex Rodriguez with a fly ball. John McDonald lucid in the sun. 3-run score. It's a 3-run double. And the Yankees extend their lead in the American League East 11-2 over Toronto. The only way to watch every MLB game at HD, call 1-800-DIRECTV.
Well, what about the job Brett Gardner has done for the Yankees? My goodness, he got a chance to make the All-Star team. He, taking over for Johnny Damon. There was a lot of question. Could he, hit Major League pitching? I think he's proved that. Brings a lot of young excitement to that Yankee ball club that has a lot of older veterans.
The Yankees now on the Major League high 49 wins. They lead the Red Sox by 1 game and the Rays by 2.5 in the American League East. Only 2 of them can make it to the postseason.
A nice souvenir for that young man. Little trick.
Kapler went around. Strikeout number 7 for Francisco Liriano. He struck out 4 of the last 5. Yeah. As we check out our Verizon game summary, Tony with a pair of home runs.
Yeah, passing Harmon Killebrew on the all-time home run list. Now 10th all-time. Justin Morneau with his 17th home run, a 2-run home run, that coming in the 3rd inning. And Carl Crawford, the only, so far, RBI base hit for the Rays.
And that was an infield hit. So the Twins lead the Rays 4-1. Bartlett sacrificed his first time up.
Well, this is one reason the Twins are excited this season. You have Carl Pavanos really had a very solid year, a 9-game winner. Kevin Slowey, Scott Baker, and Nick Blackburn, other right-handers in the starting rotation. And like the Rays, they haven't really missed a start. Blackburn left for family emergency. Other than that, all these 5 guys, they're very excited about this man on the mound right here, Liriano. They feel that he's back to the form where he was in 2006 when he made his first All-Star and only All-Star appearance. And he strikes out the side here in the 5th.
He struck out 8 in the game, 4 in a row, 5 in the last 6. Hudson, Bauer, Morneau do up for the Twins when we return. Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. 3 home runs for the Minnesota Twins. Season high here at beautiful Target Field. Twins are third in the American League in average home attendance this season, trailing only the Yankees and the Angels. 37 consecutive sellouts. And Orlando Hudson leading off for the Twins here in the bottom of the 5th inning against Wade Davis. Hudson is 0 for 2. He's flied out twice. He's 0 for 9 in the series.
Now, tickets are hard to come by here, Kenny. I'll tell you what, they have sold over 3 million already for the attendance during the year. Standing room only tickets are the only thing people can get now. People in the 5-state area just want to see this baseball stadium and also outdoor baseball, something they haven't seen in 28 years.
Rodriguez to Zobrist for out number 1. We spoke earlier with Twin skipper Ron Gardenhire about his slugger, Jim Thome.
It's just so much fun to watch him walk up to the plate. You know, he means so much to our ball club, and then to walk up there and just flip the ball over the left field wall, he makes it look pretty easy.
Hey, Gardy, everybody talked about at the Metrodome hometown magic, you know, but it seems like you guys are taking it right here to New Target Field.
Yeah, you know what? Our fans are the magic. They come out, they support us, they root for this baseball team, they bring us energy, and it's all about the fans. They've come right over from the Metrodome, and this ballpark feeds it.
And earlier, Ron Gardenhire, during our chat with him, said it's an event every time the Twins play at home.
You know what? Someone that played in Cleveland for 5 years when we averaged maybe about 3,000 fans, when you come to the ballpark here and no matter where you play and there's 30, 40,000 people out there, it becomes an event. You know, you talk about New York, you talk about L.A. or Boston where people just flock in to see their favorite players play. This is what's happening in Minnesota, and I think it's kind of rubbing into the players here, and that's why the Twins are 26-15 at home.
Gardenhire told me that every time he steps out of the dugout, looks around, looks at the fans, looks at the stadium, it's a magical moment.
Yeah, it really is. And then you look at the Rays, they're 26-14 on the road, but they're 20-19 at Tropicana Field. They need a new ballpark. They need the same type of energy that the Twins have here.
How about
hopefully that'll work out one day.
How about Gardenhire's quote before this series when he was asked about the Rays' terrific road record? He said, well, they haven't played here yet.
Well, the Rays beat them here on Thursday night, and then a great pitching matchup by both sides last night, and a 2-1 Twins win. And here today, another packed house here at Target Field, but the Twins do have a 4-1 lead.
Here's the 2-1 to Mauer, and he smacks one into the right field corner. Third hit of the day for Joe Mauer. He is in at second with a stand-up double, the 6th extra base hit for the Twins today.
Well, we showed you the first 2 swings, the beautiful swing of Joe Mauer. So as a pitcher, you say, you know what? The ball's away. He's going that way, so I got to pitch him hard in. What does Joe do? Opens up a little quicker and then hits that ball down that right field line. Mauer with his 3rd hit, picking up his 24th double of the year. So maybe the home runs haven't come, but Joe Mauer he's still trying to feel his way as far as his stadium. That man can just flat out hit.
Well, that will be all for Wade Davis. Lance Cormier coming in from the Rays pen. Taco Bell think outside the bun. Twins with a 4-1 lead over the Rays. Bottom of the 5th inning here in Minneapolis. Lance Cormier on in relief of Wade Davis with 1 out. And Maurer taking his lead off second. Justin Morneau at the plate. Morneau 1 for 2, a 2-run home run his last time up. A look at Cormier's numbers. Here's the winning pitcher in the series opener on Thursday.
Yeah, he pitched a 1-2-3 top of the 10th inning and ended up getting the win. Excuse me, the 9th inning. But Cormier making his 30th relief appearance. A young man at 29 years old in his 2nd season with the Rays. Fastball not overpowering, pretty good movement with a slider, curveball, and a very good changeup. Well, very good bullpen for the Rays. 10 wins, 5 losses out of that bullpen with a combined 3.21 ERA. Only the Twins have a lower team ERA out of that bullpen. Good changeup right there by Cormier. Cormier's pitched for the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Braves, the Orioles. Now in his 2nd season with the Rays. Signed as a free agent over the winter of 2009.
Full count.
He's one of those pitchers that comes straight over the top. A lot of times guys will be 3/4. Cormier straight over the top.
Payoff pitch to Morneau on the ground to the right side. Rodriguez over to first as Maurer moves to third. Joe Maurer with 3 hits today. We'll take you back to his double earlier this half inning and listen in to the home plate umpire Tim Timmons chatting with Rays catcher Kelly Shopping.
Guy can hit. I want to be like him when I get older. He hits everywhere.
And he has so far today.
We thank Tim Timmons for wearing a microphone for us. Tim in his 10th season as a major league umpire, working the plate today. Jason Kubel 0 for 2. Jason Kubel 0 for 3. Terrific play by Rodriguez.
Great play.
5 innings in the books. 4-1 Twins. Fast fuel. Prepare to win. By Verizon, own the airwaves. The signal is yours. Verizon, rule the air. And by Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty. 1 run on only 3 hits for the Tampa Bay Rays. 4 runs on 8 hits, including 6 extra base hits for the Minnesota Twins. They have 3 doubles and 3 home runs as Rodriguez looks to bunt his way on, and he does.
Well, and Liriano's last start, and that against Detroit. Detroit bunted on him 3 times. So the scouting report is you can bunt on Liriano. He goes over, and Kadire called him off right there. You could almost hear Kadire saying, I've got it, but don't know if he would have had a play on this or if Liriano even picks it up. But a great bunt right there by Rodriguez. He picks up his first hit, and the leadoff hitter is on here for the Rays in the top of the 6th inning.
For Rodriguez, his 6th bunt base hit of the season, 4th in Major League Baseball. He has 6 steals this year. Carl Crawford at the plate. Crawford takes ball 1. Liriano had retired 7 straight Rays prior to that bunt base hit. He had struck out 4 in a row and 5 of the last 6 batters he faced.
Good fastball right in on Crawford, who is the Rays' all-time leader. You can see the departments, the games, the average, the runs, the RBIs, the stolen bases, triples. That has been a great player and a free agent at the end of the year.
The senior member of the Rays, 3-time All-Star. Crawford takes inside. Now 2-1.
He's led the American League in stolen bases 4 times in his career. Career .295 hitter coming into this year, his 9th season with the Rays. Liriano, no walks in the ball game so far.
Crawford reaches out, pops it up, foul territory. No room for Kadire, so Crawford stays alive at 2-2.
I think the wind came into play right there, just kind of drifted that ball into the stands, because it looked like a ball that was playable at one time. Crawford just kind of reaching out, and Kadire going, seeing where he's at. The ball ends up in about the first, second row.
Remember, Crawford had that 12-pitch at bat back in the first inning. He fouled off 8 pitches from Liriano.
Yeah, then he struck him out with a fastball down and away, and he tries it again, and this ball gets away from Joe Mauer. Well, he tried to go down and away, but not quite that far. Ball hopping in front of Joe Mauer. Should be a wild pitch on Liriano, allowing Rodriguez to go to second. He wants it away, but slid up the arm of Joe Mauer. Caught by a fan behind the dugout of the Rays. Now again, Liriano has not walked a left-handed hitter yet this year. And it'll stay that way.
Crawford grounds out to Orlando Hudson as Rodriguez moves to third. Chevrolet and Scotts are building diamonds and dreams. Enter your community field for a ballpark makeover, and you could win a new Chevrolet at ChevyBaseball.com.
You know, even though he made an out right there, that's a productive out. He should be getting high fives from everybody, because his job is to get the runner over, and hopefully team play, the next guy has an opportunity to drive him in. Twins have the infield back. So all Longoria wants to do is hit a ball somewhere past the pitcher, and he's got an RBI.
He's 1 for 2, singled in the first, fly to center in the third.
Those are the little things, sometimes how you get back into ball games. You know, you'd like to have a 3 or 4 run inning, but the Rays are about, hey, let's utilize our running game. Rodriguez got the second on a wild pitch. Crawford does a good job of getting him over. Now it's up to Longoria to drive him in. You drive him in right here, it's a 4-2 game. Liriano was thinking something else. Well, I guess he's not a vampire.
Batting 60 points higher at night.
I guess that would make him a vampire, wouldn't
That's right.
it? Got to start watching those vampire movies a little bit more then. And stop right there by Joe Mauer. Liriano came into the ballgame fourth in the American League in strikeouts. Joe Mauer blocking that ball, keeping it in front of him in home plate. Jarrett Weaver of the Angels leading with 124 strikeouts. Liriano with 8 in the ballgame. California math says 106 and 8 is 114. How's that, Kenny? Pretty good?
Let's check with our statistician, Marty Aronoff. Marty, what do you think?
How am I doing, Marty? Thumbs up.
Marty reminding us that you finished with 3,701 Ks.
That last one was a tough one. Good pitch right there. It looked like he took a little off his slider. And he picks up his 9th strikeout of the ballgame.
So that's what, 115?
Very good. You are listening. Francisco Liriano, you know, that first inning, like I mentioned at the beginning, that has been a struggle for him. 30% of the runs that he's given up, but he's got that strikeout pitch working here this afternoon. 9 strikeouts in the ballgame for Liriano.
And he has struck out everybody in the order once.
That circle changeup right there. Well, he had a season high 11 strikeouts against the Braves here in early June. 3 times he has struck out 10 or more in a ball game this year. Ibar asking for time. Liriano's career high in strikeouts, 12. He's done it twice. The last time, you have to go back to 2006 against the Tigers.
He hasn't spared anybody today. All 9 in the Rays batting order, and struck out once. Ibar rounds up to Hudson, so the Twins lead remains 4-1. Jim Thome with a pair of home runs, due up second when we come back. Sports baseball cap. You can join hundreds of others who are already wearing theirs. The current longest streak is 25, held by Katie316. Get your streak started today at foxsports.com/fantasy. Michael Kadar on the first pitch of the inning from Lance Cormier. Singles into left field. Ninth hit of the game for the Twins. As Jim Thome gets set to step up to the plate. He has 2 home runs today and 2 at-bats. Let's take a listen back to career home run number 574. Michael Kadar wearing the mic for us today. Let's listen.
You know, Kenny, it was Michael Kadar that kind of helped him in his last at-bat because Michael Kadar had that 12-pitch at-bat against Wade Davis.
And Thome grounds into a double play into the Rays infield shift. So Thome, after going deep in the second and the fourth, rounds into the 3-5-1 double play.
Well, I'm glad the fans didn't boo him. Joe Madden coming out. There'll be a pitching change. Delman Young at the plate. Dan Wheeler looks like he's the next one out of the bullpen for the Rays.
Twins, Bill Criswell of Windermere, Florida, and Bob Bardwell of Stewartville, Minnesota. The names of all 30 winners who will be honored during the All-Star pregame ceremony on Fox will be announced on Monday at peopleallstars.com. So congratulations to Bill and Bob.
Yes, Bill and Bob, congratulations. Bill, they'll have a blast out in Anaheim. I'm looking forward to watching all the events there, but boy, All-Star games, they've made that such a big deal now with a fan fest and everything. A lot of fun to go to.
Home Run Derby on Monday night. All-Star game on Fox Tuesday, July 13th. Dan Wheeler, the veteran right-hander, third pitcher of the day for the Rays, facing Delman Young with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the Twins leading the Rays 4-1.
Yeah, Wheeler making his 33rd appearance. A fly ball to left center.
And this will be handled by Crawford to end the inning. So 6 innings in the books here in Minneapolis. Still 4-1 Twins. hosted by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Kenny Albert, Burt Blyleven on a hot, humid Saturday afternoon in Minneapolis. 3 home runs for the Twins, accounting for all 4 of their runs today. Jim Thome with a pair of solo shots. Justin Morneau, a 2-run homer in the 3rd. First time the Twins have hit more than 2 home runs in a game here at their beautiful new ballpark on this day before Independence Day. And Francisco Liriano, smooth sailing. He struck out 9 over the first 6 innings and has retired 10 of the last 11 Rays he has faced. Kelly Shoppach leading off for Tampa Bay here in the 7th inning. Shoppach is 0 for 2.
Yeah, the Twins before the ball game, they honored all the servicemen and the armed services, and I thought that was a great job. And again, Kenny, I know I'll probably speak from your heart to my heart that thank you for all the service people out there that protect us in this beautiful country here in the United States.
Absolutely. Twins hosting their 7th annual Armed Services Appreciation Day. 2-1 now on Shoppach.
Men and women. Now, Liriano's done a good job. He really has. He gave up 1 run in the 3rd inning on a kind of a swinging bunt off the bat of Carl Crawford that he tried to pick up and kind of overran for the RBI single for Crawford, but he's throwing strikes. 94 pitches now for Liriano. 61 have been strikes. And Shoppach coming into the ballgame, he had the most at-bats against Liriano, 12. And that most of those came when he was with the Cleveland Indians. And his first walk of the ballgame for Liriano.
Only the 28th walk this season.
Yeah, it's one thing that the Twins really preach is get the ball over the plate, trust your defense. That's part of the Twins' way that we talked about earlier, Kenny. And you know, Liriano coming into this year, he averaged about 3.5 walks per 9 innings, and he's really done a better job. He's this year coming in averaging about 2.5 walks. Doesn't seem like much, but it really does when you take 1 walk away a ball game.
B.J. Upton swinging at the first pitch from Liriano, and Upton flies out to Kubel in right for out number 1. A crowd of 40,852 on hand, the largest crowd of the season here at Target Field. The 38th consecutive sellout. What a day. Here's Ben Zobrist. Zobrist is 0 for 2. Shoppach the runner on first. And the first pitch from Liriano in for a called strike. Once again, the All-Star game coming up on Fox a week from Tuesday from Anaheim. Bert, you participated in a couple of All-Star games.
Right.
What are some of your biggest memories?
Well, 1973 and then 1985, there was 12 years between All-Star appearances for me, and that I believe that's the longest between appearances. So I figured I had to pitch until 1997 to play in my 3rd, but I retired in 92 after the 92 season. But a lot of fun. I mean, it's an honor. It's an honor to go to the All-Star game. Back then, it didn't mean much other than just an exhibition game, where I think the Bud Seligs of the world, Commissioner Bud Selig did a great thing on there's something behind the All-Star game now. It means something. Who has home field advantage in the World Series? I think that's a great thing. Liriano picking up his 10th strikeout here this afternoon. The 4th time this season Liriano has had 10 strikeouts in a ball game.
Well, still a long way to go for Francisco to reach 3,701.
Yeah, see, but there's my complete games on the bottom. That's what I like right there. I like the complete games.
I want to ask you about that because when you take a look at all of the active pitchers in the major leagues, as Kapler fouls off the first pitch from Liriano, the active leader in complete games, and you completed 242 as we just saw, the active leader is Roy Halladay with 55.
Yeah, I mean, but the game has changed a lot. I'm glad I pitched when I did, when 9 innings meant something, Kenny, and you go out there and the 60 shutouts I was very proud of too, because it's hard to pitch a shutout. David Price pitched a great ball game last night. That's how hard it is. He had one little hiccup in the 7th inning, gave up 3 hits, And he not only lost his shutout, he lost the ball game. And that's how hard it is to win a major league game. Everything has to go your way. You know, Wade Davis here this afternoon, he made some mistakes. You know, he left a pitch up to Thome that Thome hit the other way, and then an 0-2 pitch he gave up to home run to Justin Morneau for the 2-run home run. These are learning experiences that Wade Davis at only 24. This was just his 22nd major league start. He'll learn from that.
So of all those numbers we saw, the complete games means the most to you?
Yeah, I think so. That and the shutouts. Those two things right there. Again, the 287 wins. Yeah, if they counted my Little League wins, I had well over 300. But, you know, I got to play a kid's game for 22 years. That's the way I look at it. And now I get to be part of the broadcasts, you know, in Major League Baseball. And God was good to me. He's been very good to me. There's a young Herb Blyleven. You know, that curveball that I had, I actually learned listening to Vince Scully and Jerry Doggett on the radio describing Sandy Koufax's drop. I grew up in Southern California, and I kind of went to the side yard, and I learned the rotation of the ball to kind of get it from 12 to 6. And it was kind of self-taught, but, you know, it was always the visualization part in my mind of how to throw a good curveball. But everything keys off the fastball.
Ground ball to the third baseman, Kadire. Twins get the force at second. They lead the game 4-1. 7th inning stretch time here in Minneapolis, and we will stay right here on Armed Services Appreciation Day in Minneapolis.
And she leads us in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain to the prairies to the ocean white with gold.
Lowe's, let's build something together. By Scott's official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. And by New Gillette Fusion Pro Glide, turns shaving into gliding and skeptics into believers. Well, the Twins fans, believers today. Ron Gardenhire's club has gone deep 3 times. Twin skipper chatting with Francisco Liriano.
Well, Liriano with 103 pitches, and you see the handshake right there from pitcher coach Rick Anderson. So Liriano's night or day is done. And quite a performance for Liriano. 10 strikeouts, 1 walk, and only 1 run allowed.
J.J. Hardy takes a called strike. 1 for 2 in his return from the disabled list. Twins placed Matt Tolbert on the disabled list with an injured finger to make room for J.J. Hardy on the roster. Hardy doubled his last time up. Twins with 6 extra base hits of their 9 hits in the game.
Well, Hardy in his first season with the Minnesota Twins, coming over from the Milwaukee Brewers. Twins traded Carlos Gomez to the Brewers to get J.J. Hardy. Or you could say that the Brewers traded J.J. Hardy to get Carlos Gomez because they lost Mike Cameron to free agency. Now Cameron now with the Boston Red Sox. They needed a center fielder. Twins really needed a shortstop. And they feel that J.J. Hardy, even though he had a frustrating year last year, hitting .229 for the Brewers, he's a career .262 hitter.
He has his second hit of this game as he singles up the middle off Wheeler. The leadoff single here in the 7th. Time now for a direct TV game break. Braves and the Marlins bottom of the 4th, 1-1 game. Yudel Escobar with an RBI double, giving the Braves a 2-1 lead. Later in the inning, Gregor Blanco with a 2-run single, extending the Atlanta lead to 4-1. They're now at the top of the 7th inning. And that will be all for Dan Wheeler. Here comes the left-hander Randy Choate from the Rays pen. On at first.
Yeah, the only left-hander for Joe Madden in that bullpen, and Choate making his 40th appearance. He worked here a couple nights ago. Faced Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau. Now he'll be facing Denard Span. So The only left-hander coming in when the Twins have their next, most of the lineup are left-handed hitters coming up. Choate, in his second season with the Rays, came up with the Yankees back in 2000. Also spent some time in the National League with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the Arizona Diamondbacks have a new manager, Kirk Gibson.
Won his first game last night by defeating the Dodgers.
Yeah, he'll fire him up.
Replacing A.J. Hinch, who took over last season.
Yeah, you know what? That's a fourth manager losing its job this summer already. And here we are, the 3rd of July.
Choate 1-1 on Span, who was 0 for 3 today.
Yeah, Choate gives you that sidearm delivery. Big sweeping breaking ball. He has some sink. He's not overpowering a fastball that'll be clocked as high as 88 or 89.
Florida Marlins made a managerial change about a week and a half ago. Orioles and Royals also fired their managers earlier this season. And now the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, you know what, and that just disrupts an organization. And one thing I think what we've seen here with the Rays and the Twins, Joe Maddon's been here for 5 years. Ron Gardenhire's been here now 9 years, and he kind of took the baton from Tom Kelly, who was here forever, since 1986. So you'd like to have some stability in an organization. They always talk about the Twins way. Well, the Rays have their own way right now, and that's under the leadership of Joe Maddon.
And Joe Maddon spent 31 years in the Angels organization.
Yeah, he gives Mike Scioscia a lot of credit for, making him the manager that he's become. And he's a good one. And a good guy.
Span down on strikes. 1 away here in the Twins' 7th.
And you look around the league and you look at where the Atlanta Braves are. We just showed highlights of the Braves. Are they playing because Bobby Cox's last year? The way that they're playing, good for them. The Mets are hanging in there. How about the Cincinnati Reds, the job that Dusty Baker's doing over there? I mean, the Cardinals only 1 game behind, but the biggest surprise, I think, is out west, the San Diego Padres. What a great job they're doing under Bud Black.
Who would have thunk it? The Braves, the Reds, and the Padres in first place on July 3rd.
Isn't it great for baseball? And really in the American League, you have the same thing. You have some clubs that, the Texas Rangers, nobody knew, how the Rangers would do under Nolan Ryan and the new president there. In the American League, the Yankees, Boston, the Rays are right in there. And then the White Sox got hot. They won 11 straight. They're right back into the picture in the Central Division. And the Angels, they played good baseball, but the Texas Rangers have just been one of the best, hottest teams in baseball. And what about the job of Vladimir Guerrero? He has really kind of taken that club under his wing, showing the Angels, hey, you made a mistake, but also John Hamilton. It's a great ball club down in Texas.
Braves and Mets, 1 and 2 in the National League East. Catch them on Fox, as well as the Twins and Tigers next Saturday. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. Here's the 1-0 to Orlando Hudson. On the ground to the shortstop Bartlett, to Rodriguez for 1. Over to first. Double play. The Rays turn the 6-4-3. So through 7, it's still 4-1 Twins. has moved from third base to right field for the Twins. Nick Punto in the game at third. So Jason Kubel is out. And on in relief of Francisco Liriano is the 22-year-old right-hander Alex Burnett, making his 30th appearance of the season.
Yeah, in his rookie season here with the Twins. Burnett, good fastball, good sink on that fastball. He'll mix in a slider, a curveball, and a changeup. You know, normally the 8th inning here in Minnesota belongs to Matt Guerrero, but right now Matt Guerrero is kind of worn down a little bit. So Ron Gardenhire giving Matt a couple days off.
Jason Bartlett, well hit, right field, and it's off the glove of Kadire. He just moved into right moments ago. So the leadoff man is on for the Rays for the 3rd consecutive inning. Bartlett in scoring position on its second. It's a double off the glove of Kadire for Jason Bartlett.
Oh, Bartlett hit this ball very sharply. Kadire went back and hit the base of his glove, it looked like. Taking a closer look right here. Yeah, hit the heel of his glove and then deflected away. And Bartlett gets a double. First extra base hit for the Rays in the ballgame, their 5th hit.
Twins have 6 extra base hits. Twin starter Francisco Liriano hoping to end a 3-game losing streak. 10 strikeouts in 7 innings.
Well, I'm going to preach something I preach up here all the time. Liriano was dealing. He was dealing today, and again, that pitch count. It always comes into play. That I know Nolan Ryan down in Texas, he's trying to say, you know what, if you throw him 103, there was really nowhere that he was under duress. So he threw 103 pitches. There's no reason why they can't up that pitch count to 120. So guys don't go into the 7th and 8th inning saying, you know what, I've got 94 pitches. I only have one more inning. I'd like to see that raised a little bit. That puts a lot of burden on the bullpen.
Last Friday, the Rays were no hit by Edwin Jackson, who threw 149 pitches in that game.
A.J. Hinch, you think that got him fired? I mean, you know, you hope not. Things like that only come once in a lifetime. And, you know, how many no-hitters have there been? Not too many in Major League Baseball history.
Guy sitting to my right threw one. To Rodriguez. There have been 4 no-hitters this season, including 2 perfect games. Of course, there should have been another one. Jimenez, Braden, Halladay, and Jackson, 2 of the 4 against the Rays. In fact, 3 of the last 5 no-hitters dating back to last season have come at the expense of the Tampa Bay Rays.
And Joe Madden.
Yep.
And they have yet to pitch a no-hitter in their organization.
Joe Madden has been on the losing end of 3 perfect games during his managerial and coaching career. Kenny Rogers back in '94 when Joe was a coach.
Well, there's Matt Guerrero and Jose Mojarras up.
So while Madden has been on the losing end of 3 perfect games, Ron Gardenhire in the Twins dugout, Bert, once bowled a perfect game.
Yes, he did. He was a very good bowler. Actually, during spring training, he has a little tournament to raise money for funds for bowling. And Orlando Hudson and Denard Span are putting a bowling tournament together later this month here in Minnesota. That fastball up and in, and Rodriguez will be getting new lumber. One of the greatest sounds in baseball, Kenny. A broken bat.
You know it well.
No, not too often. I wish I knew more of it.
With Bartlett, the runner on second, the former Twin, he made the final out in 2 of the no-hitters. Burley's perfect game last year and Edwin Jackson's no-hitter last Friday. Somewhat of a dubious distinction. Payoff pitch to Rodriguez. Another foul. Last July, Mark Burley. Perfect game at U.S. Cellular Field against the Rays. Dallas Braden of the A's, a perfect game on Mother's Day this year. And with the no-hitter last Friday, the 149-pitch no-hitter. Despite 7 Rays in scoring position in that game, Edwin Jackson did not allow a hit.
You know, no-hitters are good, but a perfect game, I mean, my goodness. You know, any little kid out there that ever picked up a baseball and said, you know, hey, I'd like to be, you know, the next Tom Seaver or Nolan Ryan, you always think about, or the next Sandy Koufax for me, you always think about that perfect game. You know, go to the 7th, 9th inning and, you know, you have that final out. I mean, these guys were able to achieve something that not too many guys have been able to do.
Yet another foul off the bat of Rodriguez.
Oh, Rodriguez giving Burnett a good at-bat right here.
When you think back to your no-hitter, do you remember how many base runners there were? And were some of them early in the game?
There was only one. There was an error like in the 4th or 5th inning, and we got a double play. So I faced the minimum until the last hitter. I walked Carlos Lee, and then I struck out the last batter to get the no-hitter against the Angels in Anaheim. Where
so only two base runners.
Yes. I was pretty lucky. Yeah, I pitched one hitters where he had better stuff, but just that night they hit it to everybody. And I appreciate the Angels for doing that.
Slow roller fielded by Hardy. Safe at first is Rodriguez. So the Rays threatening here in the 8th. They have runners on the corners with nobody out.
That's a very good pitch right there, and for don't know how Rodriguez able to hit this ball, but it's a slow roller, like you mentioned, Kenny. No chance right here. I mean, the speed again, the aggressiveness of the Rays are trying to get back into this ball game.
Ron Gardenhire out to the mound. Maharis coming in. Of defense have collaborated to build a 5,000 square foot Fox Sports Skybox Lounge at an Air Force base in Southwest Asia. The lounge opened just last week. The idea was born last fall during Fox NFL Sunday's trip to an Air Force base in Afghanistan to celebrate Veterans Day. The NFL on Fox crew visited with base personnel and Everyone agree that our servicemen and women deserve something more special.
They sure do. What a great gesture by Fox Sports, and I hope those guys and women are enjoying that. I bet they are.
Well, we are told the renovated lounge now mirrors a Fox Sports skybox. Fox Sports donated the franchise license and all the equipment, materials, and design work. Hundreds of Air Force personnel on 3 different bases on 2 continents contributed to the construction. Good job, everybody.
Yes. Congratulations.
Carl Crawford facing Jose Majares with runners on the corners and nobody out. And the Twins leading the Rays 4-1, 23rd appearance for Majares.
Yeah, 17 innings pitched, 16 hits allowed, 5 walks, 11 strikeouts. Majares rejoining the club about a week ago when he left the ball club for family medical emergency. He joined him on June 26th.
Crawford, left field, rolling into the corner. Bartlett scores. Rodriguez holding at third. It's a run-scoring double for Crawford, his second run batted in today.
Yeah, fan interference right there. Jeff Nelson saying that right in that corner where the stands kind of jet out a little bit. Crawford just taking a pitch from Majares the other way and slicing that ball down the left field line. And one hopping, and then the fan touching the ball.
So Matt Guerrier will be the 3rd pitcher of the inning for the Twins.
You are hereby circled.
As Matt Guerrier comes in to face Evan Longoria. 38th appearance for Guerrier. He's the 3rd pitcher of this inning for the Twins.
Yeah, again, Matt, Ron Gardenhire, Rick Anderson, they did not want to use Matt, give him a couple days off. He didn't work yesterday. But here he's needed here in this situation against Evan Longoria, who's leading the Rays in RBIs.
Rodriguez on 3rd, Crawford on 2nd. Longoria first pitch, base hit left field. Rodriguez scores. Crawford to 3rd. It's now a 1-run game. And all 4 Rays who have come to the plate in this 8th inning have picked up base hits.
Well, Longoria jumping on that first pitch. It looked like a little cutter right there that just stayed right down the heart of the plate. Longoria picks up his 2nd hit of the ball game, his 56th RBI of the year.
There have been 17 pitches thrown in this inning, Bert, by 3 different Twins pitchers. 2 doubles, 2 singles, and 2 runs for the Tampa Bay Rays.
You know what, Kenny, I'm going to mention this because Gene Mock many years ago when I played here in Minnesota, he was my manager. He said, you know what, Berta, I never wanted to take you out of the ball game. He said, because when I took you out and you were pitching well, there's a long fly ball off the bat.
Willie Ibar deep right field, and it is off the wall. 1 run scores. Holding at third is Longoria. We are tied at 4. Ibar with an RBI double. The Rays' 5th hit of the inning. They scored 3 runs. Still nobody out.
Again, Gene Mock said, you know, when you leave the ball game, it just picks up the other team. Well, Liriano left the ball game, and there are 5 straight hits off of 3 relievers for the Tampa Bay Rays against the Minnesota Twins.
After Liriano allowed only 4 hits in 7 innings while striking out 10. Burnett, Harris, and Guerrero have combined to allow 5 consecutive base hits here in the 8th. And now John Jaso will pinch hit for Kelly Shopik.
Yeah, Jaso pinch hit in last night's ball game and picking up a base hit. 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter. Twins have to bring the infield in now in a 4-4 tie with nobody out here in the top of the 8th.
And Jaso rips the first pitch foul. You know, it was a tough play when you think back to the ball hit by Bartlett. But Kadire moving to right field from third base this inning. The first hit of the inning went off his glove.
Yeah, I mean, right here, I mean, every pitch that Matt Guerrero has thrown, all 3 of them have been smoked somewhere. Longoria got the first pitch, RBI single. Ibar, next pitch, RBI double right there. Jaso lining that ball foul.
But you wonder how different this inning might have been had Kadire made that catch and right.
That's the beauty of the game of baseball, Kenny. You just don't know. Kadire went back, hit the heel of his glove, and got away. You don't think it's going to hurt you, but it did give the Rays some momentum, and now they're taking advantage of it.
Liriano had retired 13 of the last 15 Rays he had faced. And this was a ball hit by Bartlett off the glove of Kadire.
You don't see Kadire make too many mistakes like that. He just must have lost the flight of the ball or something hit the heel of his glove. But credit to Rays right here. They are coming back swinging at everything and hitting it hard.
Nothing and 2 on the pinch hitter Jaso with Longoria on third. Ibar taking his lead off second. 3 runs on 5 hits in the inning for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Jaso started the season in AAA, got called up in the middle part of April.
Ground ball to the right side. Terrific play by Morneau. Runners home.
Tell you what, that man can play some first base. Here, if Carlos Pena was playing, you have 2 of the best first basemen in the American League showing off their trade right here. And that ball, a short hop right there, but Justin able to get it in his glove. Look at the runner at third, and that being Longoria, making sure he's not going to try to score, and he gets the out at first.
Now with 1 away, here's B.J. Upton. Upton is 0 for 3 today. Infield in.
This is where, you know, you had some trouble with your teammates for B.J. Upton. This is an opportunity for him to come through right here. Liriano with the first 7 innings, but the bullpen has not fared very well here in the top of the 8th.
Longoria, Ibar. 1 out, top of the 8th inning, and a 4-4 game. Two one.
Fastball situation. Matt Guerrero went to the breaking ball. Upton kind of stretching out that quad area that's been bothering him. Went to the breaking ball, the slider. One thing that does come into play right now is that the pitcher is kind of in the sun shade, and sometimes the rotation of that ball hard to see. But two good breaking balls right there from Matt Guerrero to B.J. Upton. See if Upton makes the adjustment. Last two pitches down and away. Smothered by Joe Mauer. As a catcher, you know a breaking ball's coming, and it's in front of him, so he does everything he can to knock it down. Keeps Longoria at third. Boy, you'd almost guess that they would have to go another breaking ball down and away. You have first base open in a tie ball game. You don't want to make a mistake inside.
Upton got a piece of it.
Yankees already have won. The Tigers and the White Sox are on the heels of the Twins. They want to continue to stay in first place.
Fastball missing inside. So Upton will head down to first. And the bases are full of Rays.
Well, they tried to sneak a fastball inside. And that ball inside, you can clearly see. And Upton with a good at-bat, trying to walk to load the bases with one out.
Ben Zobrist, the 8th batter of the inning for the Rays. Zobrist 0 for 3, struck out twice against Liriano.
Well, the Twins middle of the infield playing back. They're looking for the double play ball.
Punto, switch hitter now batting from the left side, Bird, against the right-hander Guerrero.
Yeah, Punto even with the bag at third. Justin Morneau doing the same at first.
Longoria on third, Ibar over at second, and Upton at first. 3 runs in the inning for the Rays on 5 hits on a walk. Fastball in for a called strike. 1-1 on Zobrist.
Zobrist thought that pitch was a little on the high side. Zobrist a good hitter from both sides of the plate, hitting .295 as a left-handed hitter coming into this ball game. .284 as a right-handed hitter.
1-2.
Well, the way he swung at that breaking ball, if I'm out there, I have to throw that same pitch again. Matt Guerrero needs a strikeout here. Zobrist has to be thinking he's going to throw that again because I didn't have a very good swing at it.
Popped up. Foul territory. Mauer called off by Morneau. 2 away.
Let's take a look at a pitch-by-pitch to Ben Zobrist by Matt Guerrero. The first pitch, outer half of the plate for ball 1. Then he goes with the fastball that's called a strike. The slider right there. And then he went back up the ladder right there, and Zobrist popped it straight up for the second out.
So with 2 away, Matt Joyce will pinch hit as we take one more look.
Yeah, that ball wasn't as high as I thought it was, but Zobrist just got underneath it. Joe Mauer giving way to Justin Morneau.
So Matt Joyce pinch hitting with the bases loaded and 2 outs for Gabe Kapler. Joyce is 3 for 19 in 7 games with the Rays, recalled on June 25th.
He started the season on a disabled list with a left shoulder strain, and then when he was eligible to come off, they ended up optioning him down to AAA, just getting called up in late June. This is his first pinch hitting appearance.
Bauer couldn't find it, now does.
Matt Joyce, 25 years old, grew up in the Tampa Bay area. He, like Denard Span, are from the Tampa Bay area. Denard Span, the center fielder for the Twins. Joyce originally signed by the Tigers, came over a couple years ago to the Rays.
In the trade for Edwin Jackson. Two balls, no strikes. Bases loaded, top of the 8th inning. Span on the run. He's on the track. He looks up. And it is gone over the wall for a grand slam. A pinch hit grand slam home run for Matt Joyce. And the Rays now lead the game 8-4. They've scored 7 runs here in the 8th inning.
Oh, what a way to hit your first home run of the year. Matt Joyce in his first pinch hit appearance got a fastball up. And the only ball I remember going straight away center is off the bat of Jim Thome. But Matt Joyce, Span going back, and he just runs out of room. A grand slam home run for Matt Joyce. And 8 runs have put on the board here in the 8th inning to take an 8-4 lead. Wow.
Jason Bartlett, who started the inning with a double off the glove of Kadire, grounds out to Punto, but the Rays score 7 on 6 hits in the inning, and now lead the Twins by the score of 8-4. two-tone sport outside you so you can enjoy the sun. And by DirecTV, watch and record in multiple rooms with just one DVR. What a turn of events here in Minneapolis as the Rays score 7 runs in the top of the 8th inning.
I said 8 runs. It felt like 8 runs, but it's only 7.
Well, they have 8 in the game.
What a turnaround.
And these changes for the Rays. Ben Zobrist moves to right field. Carlos Pena now at first base. And the new battery, John Jaso, will pinch hit behind the plate. Joaquin Benoit on the mound. And the first pitch to Joe Mauer misses low, ball 1. There's Jaso. And Benoit, the 5th Rays pitcher.
Yeah, Benoit, pretty good story right here. Here's a guy that missed all of last year. He had surgery on that right shoulder in his first season with the Rays. Started the season in AAA, went through all the rehab, getting called up on late April. He's done a very good job out of that bullpen. Matt Joyce celebrating that grand slam home run.
As you mentioned, a Tampa native. Broke in with the Tigers back in 2008. His 16th career home run in the major leagues, his first grand slam. Just out of the reach of fellow Tampa native Denard Span, the Twin center fielder. So Francisco Liriano left this game with a 4-1 lead. Twins used 3 pitchers in the 8th, and they combined to allow 7 runs on 6 base hits.
Yeah, Matt Guerrero, he's given up 3 home runs now. 2 of them have been grand slams. One to Alex Rodriguez in New York. The other one we just witnessed here.
Mauer slices one into left center, and the catch is made by Crawford for out number 1. Mauer retired for the first time today. He had been 3 for 3.
Well, Liriano worked the first 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk, only 1 run allowed, but the bullpen really let the guys down here so far. If the Twins can come back, that's what they'd like to do, but big 7-run inning by the Rays in the top of the 8th.
Justin Morneau 1 for 3, a 2-run homer back in the 3rd inning off Wade Davis.
Benoit still pretty good fastball after that shoulder surgery in the low 90s. Sharp slider and a very good changeup. Benoit first came up to the major leagues with the Rangers in 2001. Went through last year, spent 14 seasons in the Ranger organization. That's the longest tenured member ever who wore a Ranger uniform. Wow. 14 years in that organization.
Missing high, now 2-1. Twins had a 4-1 lead. All 4 Minnesota runs coming via the long ball. Morneau, a 2-run shot. Tomey with a pair of solo home runs in the 2nd and 4th innings. But the Rays scored 7 in the top of the 8th. Not the biggest inning in baseball today, however. Yankees scored 11 runs in the 3rd inning of their game against Toronto.
Yeah, Yankees ended up winning that ball game 11-3 over the Blue Jays. Now that fastball to Morneau, 95 miles an hour from Benoit.
Fouls one back this way. 2-2.
On the 3rd inning, Justin Morneau on an 0-2 pitch from Wade Davis. Davis kind of knew it, I think, as soon as he let that ball go where that location was, and Justin hitting a 2-run home run, his 17th home run of the year. That gave the Twins a 3-1 lead at that time.
Twins have hit 3 in a game here at home for the first time this season. For a record crowd of over 40,000, 40,852, 38th consecutive sellout here at Target Field. but a very quiet crowd following that 7-run inning by the Rays.
It's amazing what a 7-run inning can do to a 40,000 plus crowd.
Morneau down on strikes. 2 away here in the Twins' 8th.
Benoit picking up a strikeout. Only the second strikeout of the ball game. Excuse me, the third strikeout of the ball game for the Twins. Randy Choate had one. A little movement on that fastball, but it just overpowered Morneau on that.
So with 2 away, Nick Punto batting for the first time. .254 average.
Yeah, Punto a switch hitter, is a left-handed hitter, hitting .244, .274 as a right-handed hitter. A 1 home run coming in interleague play in Philadelphia.
So in contrast to the Twins bullpen, the Rays pen, 3 1/3 scoreless innings in relief of Wade Davis today. Poirier, Wheeler, Choate, and now Benoit.
And coming into play, 2 of the best low ERAs in the American League as far as bullpen. Twins came in with a combined 2.80 earned run average. And the Rays second in the American League with a combined 3.21 earned run average. And it's a Rays bullpen that has fared better than the Twins here this afternoon. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, or Joe Madden. Well, Nick Punto's kind of like Ben Zobrist of the the Rays. He can play anywhere. And J.J. Hardy took over. Nick Punto started the season at third base. When J.J. Hardy went down, he went over to short. When Orlando Hudson went down, he went over to second. He can play some outfield. Very valuable to the ball club. What a good changeup right there. Benoit picks up a couple strikeouts.
A 1-2-3-8. We head to the 9th. 8-4 Rays. 4. Rays sent 10 men to the plate in the 8th inning. They scored 7 runs. And now we move to the 9th with Ron Mayhay on the mound, 5th Twins pitcher of this game. Joyce all smiles in the Rays dugout.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you be?
Yep.
You just hit your first major league grand slam. The numbers on Mayhay making his 26th relief appearance.
Facing Sean Rodriguez, leading off for the Rays. Here in the 9th, Rodriguez with a couple of infield hits in the 6th and 8th innings.
Yeah, Alex Burnett made a good pitch. I thought jammed him in that last inning, but was able to beat it out. Hudson getting that fly ball off the bat of Rodriguez for the first out here.
And Bert, today's Coppertone Sports shining play of the game. We take you back to the top of the 8th inning. Matt Joyce, first home run of the season, first career grand slam home run. As the Rays come back from a 4-1 deficit. The 7 runs in the inning match their season high. It's the 3rd time this season the Rays have scored 7 in 1 inning. And we mentioned earlier that it has been feast or famine. They've been held to either 0 or 1 run in the game 15 times, including last night. This is now the 24th time the Rays have scored at least 8 runs, and they are 22-1 in the previous 23.
Well, you know what? Credit the Rays for not giving up. I mean, Liriano left the ball game. All of a sudden, here comes the Rays. And another look at that swing of Matt Joyce and the reaction of the guys on the bench. The way that Span went after that ball, the ball just kept drifting and drifting and went over that center field fence.
For the Rays, their 3rd grand slam of the season. Crawford and Pena have the others. Paul Crawford at the plate right now. 2 hits today, has driven in 2 runs. 8 hits in this series. Now 8 for 15. Reminder, the All-Star game coming up on Fox a week from Tuesday, July 13th from Anaheim. This is the 3rd game of the series, Bert. All 3 have featured a late game comeback.
Well, you know what? These are 2 very good ball clubs right here that are not going to give up. Every at-bat's very important. That's a foot race right here by Morneau. And Crawford can't believe that first base umpire Alfonso Marquez called him out. George Hendrick, the first base coach, going to have some words with the first base umpire. See Mayhay a little late getting over there. And Justin looked like he was able to get that left foot on the bag before Crawford could get there. Boy,
ooh, it was close.
That was very close. Now he's supposed to go to the runner.
So 2 away for Longoria.
Take another look. Yeah, looks like Crawford beat him.
Looking ahead, the Twins will have Kadire, Tomey, and Young due up in the bottom of the 9th. They trail this game 8-4. Francisco Liriano, tremendous. Twin starter, 7 innings, allowed just 1 run on 4 hits. Walked 1, struck out 10. He retired 13 of the last 15 Rays he faced.
I think you have to credit the bullpen, too. You mentioned the bullpen, 3 in the 3rd innings, but they've done a great job now to kind of, shut the door after the Twins put 4 runs on the board after Wade Davis worked the first 4 in the 3rd innings. The bullpen has pitched shutout baseball since.
By the way, those 7 runs in the top of the 8th, the most runs allowed by the Twins in 1 inning this season. Full count. Payoff pitch to Longoria. Shortstop Hardy. We head to the bottom of the 9th here in Minneapolis. Matt Joyce still thinking about it. Kadire, Tomey, and Young for the Twins. situations for Balfour. He's the 6th pitcher of this game for the Rays, and their bullpen, Bert, we alluded to this earlier, have done a terrific job. 3 2/3, have not allowed a run.
Yeah, I mean, Graham Belfour's been pitching outstanding, too, out of that Rays bullpen. In his 4th season with the Rays, he went through the surgery when he was a member of the Minnesota Twins back in 2003 to 2005. He had the Tommy John surgery in May of 2005. Then he went through the shoulder surgery in September. So 2005 was not a good year for Grant Belfour, but he has come back. He spent some time with the Brewers in 2007, then came over to the Rays that year. And he's done a very, very good job out of that bullpen. Hard-throwing right-hander, very good slider.
He'll face Kadire, Tomey, and Young with a 4-run lead. Michael Kadire, 1 for 3. Singled his last time up. And he takes strike 1 from Balfour.
Balfour from Sydney, Australia, signed by the Twins back in 1997 as a free agent out of Australia.
And Kadire leads off the bottom of the 9th with a base hit into the right field corner, and he is in at second with a leadoff double.
Well, the Twins have to say to themselves, the Rays did it in the top of the 8th inning. Can we do it here in the bottom of the 9th? Kadire with his 2nd hit of the ball game, his 18th double of the year.
Seventh extra base hit for the Twins among their 11 hits in this game. 4 doubles, 3 home runs, including 2 off the bat of Jim Tomey, who is now all alone in 10th place. He came into this game 1 behind Harmon Killebrew. Ty Killebrew in the 2nd. And then hit number 574 in the 4th before grounding into a double play in the 6th inning.
Well, the defense of the Rays, you can see Longoria, he has to stay near 3rd because Kadire is at 2nd, but Bartlett is playing like the 2nd baseman, and Rodriguez is playing short right field. I thought that was only in softball you could use 4 outfielders.
Imagine having Tomey on your softball team in a couple of years.
I think they'd have to move the fences back.
Right field. Off the top of the wall. Third extra base hit of the game for Tomey, who came oh so close to his first 3 home run game since 2001. He drives in Kadire. It's now a 3-run ball game.
Well, he got a fastball right there from Belfour, and he gave it a ride. Zobrist just turns around and watches if it goes out, or how do I play the angle? He got by him. But what a day at the plate for Jim Tomey. Passing Harmon Killebrew, picking up his 3rd RBI of the ball game on his 3rd hit. Now if it does become a save situation, and Joe Madden going to make a pitching change.
Twins led this game 4-1. Rays scored 7 in the 8th. Twins with a run here at the bottom of the 9th. Comey the runner on second. Still nobody out. And now the closer, Rafael Soriano, who saved the game here on Thursday, in to face Delman Young.
Well, the numbers on Soriano outstanding, making his 30th relief appearance. 19 of 20 save opportunities have been successful. J.P. Howell last year was the saves leader for the Rays when he saved 17 ball games. Soriano already with 19.
And we mentioned earlier, Bill Madden certainly feels like Soriano deserves consideration for the American League All-Star squad. His only blown save, 19 for 20, came in a 2-inning stint against Florida. An error led to the winning run.
Good slider right there to Delman Young. Soriano, 30 years old, from the Dominican Republic. In his 9th Major League season, he came up with the Seattle Mariners. Last 3 seasons before this with the Atlanta Braves. Traded over during the winter.
Young gets the bat on it. Longoria, one away.
This is always the toughest play for a third baseman. You play back, especially a guy like Delman Young, and then you have to come in and hopefully you get a good hop, pretty good hop right there with Longoria, and then on the run, he has to come in and put something on the ball in the exchange, and able to do that over to Pena, now playing first base.
So with Tomey on at second and one away, here's J.J. Hardy, who has 2 hits today in his return from the disabled list. Fastball missing away. Great job by our entire crew here in Minneapolis. Today's game produced by Jeff Gowan, director Jim Lynch, associate director Eric Billigmeyer, associate producer Andy Kavanaugh, technical producer Dan Rotante, technical director Simon Bedazzler. Pre-game show produced by Don Bowie. Highlights coordinator is Janice Casaza. Technical supervisor is Jack Simmons, and our statistician Marty Aronoff.
There's a lot of people that try to make us sound good, huh?
Have they succeeded?
No. You, yes.
Here's the 1-1 off the fist.
Well, with the Yankees already winning, the Rays with that big 7-run inning, they needed that to stay close to the Yankees. The Boston Red Sox will be playing, actually their game just started against the Baltimore Orioles here in the first inning in Fenway Park.
And the Rays will head home following this series and host the Red Sox for 3 down in St. Petersburg.
Yeah, that'll be a good series. And then the Twins, you know, they finish a game here tomorrow. Then they go to Toronto for a 3-game series with Monday being off. Then they go to Detroit just before the All-Star break. There's the standings right there. A win would keep the Rays 2 games behind the Yankees.
Yankees beat the Jays. Red Sox and Orioles just underway. Comey holding at second as Bartlett throws out Hardy. And the Twins, who led this game 4-1 in the 8th inning, are now down to their final out. Here's Denard Span, who was only able to watch as the ball hit by Matt Joyce sailed over the center field fence for his first career grand slam.
Again, Kenny, that's the only second ball I've seen hit into the trees of those pine trees out in straightaway center. Jim Tomey hit another one out there, but that ball looked like it kept drifting. I bet you if they asked Denard Span after, he was surprised the ball carried as far as it did.
A base hit for Span down the right field line. Tomey scores. It's now a 2-run game. Span with his first hit of the day and his 35th run batted in of the season.
I jumped on that first pitch from Soriano and underneath the glove of the diving Carlos Pena at first. So hitting that ball sharply, and then Pena playing off the line. The ball gets between him and the bag into that right field corner. Span picking up his 35th RBI as Jim Tomey scores.
So the Twins stay alive. It's now 8-6 Rays. Here's Orlando Hudson, who is 0 for 4. Twins have played some wild games on Fox just 2 weeks ago in Philadelphia. Trailed the Phillies 9-4 in the ninth. Bauer hit a big home run, and the Twins won it in 11 innings.
Yeah, 13-10. Love those pitchers' duels.
Hudson 0 for 2 lifetime against Soriano. On the ground, broken bat to the right side, taken to the bag by Pena. The ball game is over, and the Rays have won their 27th game on the road this season, which leads all of Major League Baseball. They come back from a 4-1 deficit by scoring 7 runs in the top of the 8th inning. They tied the game at 4, and then Matt Joyce with a pinch hit grand slam home run.
How about that? Matt Joyce, again, a Tampa native. His first pinch hit appearance of the year, and he hits a straightaway center for that grand slam.
We'll return to Minneapolis in just a moment as the Rays take the